Good evening, City Council, our Chief of Staff, City Attorney, Deputy Clerk, and audience. This is the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, April 1st, 2019. And at this time, we will have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo.
Here.
Councilman Barton.
Here.
Councilwoman Roscoe.
Here.
Councilwoman Talley.
Here.
Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
Councilwoman Webb.
Here.
And Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you.
Tonight's agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. 3, petitioner. 4, chairperson's report. 5, mayor's report. 6, clerk's report. 6, treasurer's report. 7, public comment. 8, unfinished business. 9, new business. 10, communication. And number 11 is adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved to accept the agenda as presented. Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the agenda as presented. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Number 2, minutes. Agenda item 2A for approval are the minutes from the regular council meeting held on Monday, March 25th, 2019.
So move for March 25th, 2019.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Webb, for approval of minutes from the regular council meeting, which is held March 25th, 2019. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Mr. Chair and Council, before you take action on agenda item 2B for the special meeting minutes, we found a typo in those minutes. If you go to the 3rd page, and if you look down where it talks about motion to reconvene to open session, it says State of the City address, and it should be State of the Library address. Okay. And so with that correction, I'd like to submit to you corrected special meeting minutes for approval. And so we're asking for approval of the corrected minutes from the special meeting held on Monday, March 25th, 2019. This was a closed session regarding attorney opinion, and there was an open session, which was the State of the Library address by the city librarian, Patty Brayton.
So moved for approval of the minutes from the special meeting held on Monday, March 25th, 2019.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the minutes from the special meeting held on Monday, March 25th, 2019. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
There are no petitioners on the agenda. Number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Tonight there was no special meetings, but the chair would like to recognize Councilman Wadsworth.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. I just want to announce that on the 10th of May, we're going to be having the 15th annual Romulus Animal Shelter fundraiser. Mayor Burkroff is going to pay for the pizza, and we're looking for a good time for everybody. The bowling alley doesn't charge us 10 cents for using the bowling alley, so everything that we make that night goes directly into the animal shelter fundraiser. And for all my friends in the past and the present that have donated prizes, I'm still looking for them. I'm a couple of weeks behind because I had knee surgery, so I had to kind of slow up. But it's going to be held on the 10th of May on Friday night at 7:30. And if you want to sign up, there'll be a sign-up sheet starting Wednesday at the bowling alley, or give me a call at home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth. Next, the chair is going to recognize Councilwoman Williams.
Hi, yes. I would like to ask the council for a memorial resolution for Todd Heimberg. He was born September the 23rd, 1963. He passed away unexpectedly on March the 23rd, 2019. He's the brother of Tony Heimberg, who was a 30-year plus resident of Romulus. And the family services is on April the 10th, 2019 in North Star, Michigan.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Williams, supported by Mr. Wadsworth for a memorial resolution. Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. With that, that concludes the chairperson's report.
Chair, I'll make a motion to accept your report.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Tally, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Webb?
Yes.
Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
Presenting the mayor's report this evening is our Chief of Staff, Julie Waitoko.
Good evening, Madam Clerk, Deputy Clerk, and Honorable City Council. I'm pleased to present the mayor's report this evening. And before we get into his action items, I would like to have the upcoming events tape ran. Roger, if you could help us with that, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine Dancy. Here's what's going on around Romulus. Today was the first day for curbside yard waste pickup. Remember, yard waste must be placed at the curb in 20 to 32 gallon cans clearly marked yard waste or in the designated paper yard waste bags. This Saturday, there's an expo for entrepreneurs and entertainers at the Holiday Inn on Merriman Road from 12 to 8 p.m. Visit dlswanigan.com for more information. At the library this week, we have
On Wednesday, April 3rd at 6 p.m., we have our family movie night. Come and watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Refreshments are provided, and this is for all ages.
Now here's Tanya Cofield with a special reminder.
Don't forget the deadline to purchase tickets for our Brunch with the Bunny is this Friday. Brunch will be held Saturday, April 13th, prior to the community Easter egg hunt. Children of all ages are invited to come out to our fun morning with the Easter Bunny for a delicious French toast meal, crafts, games, and photo. Children's tickets are $12 and adults can enjoy the fun and the brunch for $5 each. Tickets are available at City Hall in the mayor's office.
Thanks, Tanya. Our good news of the week is that today is Census Day. We're just 1 year away from the 2020 census. Over the next year, we will be continuing to remind the public and promote this important responsibility. The 2020 census will be very different than previous years. For the first time, you'll be able to respond online. Responding by phone or mail will also still be an option. Your participation in the 2020 census is a civic duty and ensures that Romulus receives its fair share of federal funding for important services, such as roads and grants, in addition to the allocation of U.S. House of Representatives and legislative district boundaries. If you want to help get our city excited for the census, please come see me in the mayor's office to join our complete count committee. The public can also still apply for many jobs available as field representatives for the Census Bureau by visiting 2020census.gov/jobs. Remember everyone, the 10 minutes it takes to fill out the survey impacts our community for 10 years. Thank you, and remember to please like and share us on Facebook and YouTube or visit our website for more info. Have a great night, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Jasmine and your team. The first item presented for you this evening for consideration is item 5A, which is a request to extend our 2-year fireworks bid for a fireworks display, which we're pleased to announce is being fully sponsored by U.S. Park, Airlines Parking, and Quick Park this year. With your approval, we're requesting a motion to concur with the administration and extend RFP 151608, authorizing the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached agreement with American Fireworks Company in the amount of $12,500. And again, that event is being fully sponsored by our local business partners, U.S. Park, Airlines Parking, and Quick Park.
Through the chair, if I may.
Yes, Ms. Webb.
I'd like to make that motion to concur with the administration and extend the RFP 15/16-08 and allow the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached contract with American Fireworks Company.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Webb, supported by Ms. Roscoe for the extension of the RFP for fireworks display, which is fully sponsored by U.S. Park, Airline Parking, and Quick Park. Discussion.
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
I was wondering if we are relocating the fireworks, because I know that Wick Road is under construction during that time.
Not at this time. We have assurances from the project managers that it will not be impacted during this season, so that's why we went ahead and moved forward with it.
And I also like to thank US Park for their generosity.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Webb.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Tally.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council. The next item for your consideration is item 5B, and that is ITB 1819-13, and it's for request for demolition of a substandard structure located at 35865 Vinewood. With your approval, we request in concurrence to award the bid for the proper abatement of hazardous materials, the demolition of all structures, the proper disposal of all materials for the restoration of the property as specified for the structure located at 35865 Vinewood for the lowest, most responsive and responsible bidder, Universal Consolidated Enterprises, in the amount of $8,969.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for ITB 18/19-13 for the demolition of substandard structures at 35865 Vinewood.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, for ITB 18/19-13, demolition of substandard structures at the 35865 Viner Road. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council. And the last action item that we are presenting this evening is a request for introduction of Budget Amendment 18-19-23, and that would be to introduce the budget amendment to cover the deductibles on insurance claims that have exceeded the projected budget for the 18-19 fiscal year.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for introduction of Budget Amendment 18/19-23 for the Property and Liability Insurance Fund.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Webb, for introduction of Budget Amendment 18/19-23 for the Property and Liability Insurance Fund. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved.
Thank you, council. That will conclude the mayor's report this evening.
Thank you.
6A is the clerk's report. Before we present the action items, we do have requests from two members of the public that would like to address City Council regarding agenda item 6A1. Our first request is coming from Sherry Guyed. And again, she's commenting on agenda item 6A1.
Good evening. Sherry Guyed, and I am with North Point Development. We are currently the group that has the Stone Arc property under contract. On March 11th, you all had this overlay before you, and we were at a study session. You guys requested to postpone that vote and to allow for a study session. This study session was to occur tonight on April 1st. You all decided to take action before that. So we would request that you actually go with what your decision was earlier. You all decided that you didn't have enough information. And you also decided that you would like us to be a part of that, and we would love to be a part of that. We want to share that information with you. So we would request that you all postpone your vote tonight, allow for the study session that you all had decided on your meeting at March 11th. Let us come present the information to you. We have been working really hard to put together the information that you all requested of us, and we would like the opportunity to share that with you. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next requester is coming from Timothy is it Stoker?
That's great.
Okay.
Members of the City Council, Timothy Stoker appearing on behalf of the Stronach Group, which is the owner of the property within the overlay, which is under a purchase agreement with North Point. And I would just re-echo the comments or restate the comments that were previously made. We were here on March 11th. We did not have an opportunity on behalf of the owner to make a presentation during the study session portion because we ran out of time. The council then was not fully aware that there was an actual live project that would pay over $100 million in tax revenue to the city of Romulus without tax abatement for a project that was real with real parties to move in. There also seemed to be a number of questions with regard to what land would be included within the overlay, what uses would be included within the overlay, what lands would be excluded within the overlay, impact of potential truck traffic within the area, how that would be addressed, just a number of questions. And we left that meeting with the understanding that we would be scheduled for a study session. And we were then notified by the clerk that the study session was scheduled for tonight at 6 p.m. Thursday last week, we received an email from the city saying that in fact the matter had been placed on the city council agenda on March 25th by a late amendment that was asked for, and I know it was by late amendment because it's asterisked in the minutes that were approved for March 25th, showing that the item was not supposed to be on the agenda for that night. We now know that the council voted through the first reading of the proposed overlay ordinance, and we would strongly urge that there be a delay on that vote and that we be given the opportunity to have the study session as the council requested. We think there is merit in the project that's being proposed for the Stronach property, which has been vacant since the inception of the Vining Road interchange, and that there's an opportunity to work out the concerns that there may be with development, traffic in that area through a well-reasoned and well-deliberated zoning ordinance. And we just be asked to be given that opportunity to present that. Some of the information we've already given to you in the form of a memo that was dated March 5th, 2019, a lot of which addresses information that was presented through economic advisors that the city hired to help assist in this process. And we're not sure whether that information has been delivered to council or whether council's had an opportunity to review that. Again, we were caught by surprise. We were not told till after the fact that there had been a change in the agenda. Certainly that is within the prerogative of the council to do that. But under the circumstances, no one was here last Monday because we were told it would not be an action item. And I drive 2.5 hours to get here from my office in Grand Rapids, and I'm more than willing to be here. I'm here tonight as well. And so we would just ask that the matter be tabled and that the study session and whether we ultimately reach agreement on that, we think it's a proper deliberative process with the property owners involved. And we would ask that what was to be scheduled, and that the council defer its vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair, if I may.
Yes, Ms. Webb.
I would like Mr. Keys to come up and explain to the people what happened and also let them know that of any changes, if there were any changes.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
What's before you tonight and what was before you last week and on the week before is an overlay amendment that had been approved by the Planning Commission back in February. This group, along with the Planning Commission, had been studying this area and trying to make a determination how to get additional development on this property. One of the things we didn't want to do was to change the underlying zoning, which was regional center. But what we wanted to do was to try to allow additional uses on that zoning. What was made very clear to me through the Planning Commission and through the council was that what you did not want was warehousing, distribution, logistics, or those uses that had heavy truck usage or traffic on them. So what you have in front of you was the overlay language that had been approved by the Planning Commission, reviewed by the council, and I believe council is comfortable with.
Ms. Webb.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You know, I really appreciate the business owners coming forth and asking for a study session, not only for on the council behalf, but also the residents' behalf, to know what's coming to the city, because that is really close to a huge residential community. Now, my question, even last week, and that's why I voted no on approving that agenda item, because I wanted to know, when was that decision made to approve the sub-area overlay district while we had a scheduled approved study session? On March the 11th, the council approved the study session to discuss the sub-area overlay district. But on March the 21st, the agenda was amended to include the sub-area overlay district without the benefit of a study session, which is so very important, not only to us as council members, but to the community. I was not informed of this decision in person or by phone. This would be placed on the agenda for a vote, even though the council had already scheduled for a study session. In addition, once again, it appears to me the administration refused to abide by the council original request for a study session, fast-tracking the process. This just reminds me, for those that's not aware, of the letter that went out pertaining to the retirees. It said that some members of council agreed to have the letter sent out. Who are the members of council that referred to as some? I was not one of the members of council that gave that okay, nor was I notified of such action for the letter to go out. I demand that this administration stop using underhanded backdoor practices to get agenda items approved without the entire council approval. I would make the motion that we honor their request and have a study session that the public can also be aware of what they're presenting to bring to this city.
Mr. Wadsworth, you had,
I just, I think we're getting off track a little bit here. We wanted a study session because there were certain members of this board that weren't ready to vote. And I guess those members met with the planning commission and got the answers they were looking for. And so we had enough votes for the first reading, and that's where it's at. I don't know what the retirement letter has to do with this at all. I mean, I won't even get involved with that, but we're ready for a second reading, and I just think it's time to take a vote.
yeah, are we going to,
John,
any other comments?
as I said,
Just a minute, hold, now you can speak, okay. Go ahead.
what I was making was a comparison, Mr. Wadsworth. It's funny that when you don't agree, you find it a problem with it. Your vote is your vote, my vote is my vote. I didn't know absolutely anything about this, and I think we sit up here as the council members. You said they had enough votes. You can't take a polling of the vote of the council in a closed session or over the phone. It has to be an open meeting, so at least it should have been that we put it on the agenda, cancel the study session in an open meeting, not over the phone. If you're accustomed to doing it the way you've been doing it, that's fine. But it should have been done, the meeting should have been voted on whether we have the study session in an open council meeting, not over the phone, by some council members, because I didn't get the opportunity to voice my opinion. And I think for them to come forth, I've never seen this happen for a business, developers to come forth and say they want the opportunity to bring the information not only to the council members, but to the residents. We're not sitting up here just on how we feel. We also have to make decisions based on what the residents want to hear. Mr. Barton live in that community. I'm not far from that community. So the community want to hear what these developers is going to bring to their community.
If
Mr. Abdo and then Mr. Wadsworth.
Last week, under 6A was a motion made by Ms. Roscoe, seconded by Webb to cancel a study session. You voted to cancel the study
I
session.
understand that. I voted to cancel the study session, but it was so much going on with everything else that was happening that night. I asked the question right after, why was that even on the agenda? As I said, regardless of what my colleagues might feel, we need to make sure that the residents hear what the developers has to say about what they want to bring to that area.
Mr. Chair, if I could just add
Yes.
something, sir.
Yes.
I apologize, Ms. Webb, do you want to speak?
Yeah, I would like to just say something. Yes, I supported that motion to cancel the study session due to the fact we voted on this overlay. The overlay showed we do not want 18-wheelers over there on that property. And you were going to present that to us because it was stated previously. I don't want to see 18-wheelers over there off Vining. Plus, this overlay keeps the 354 plus acres, I believe, in the RC district for retail, for condos over there by the lake. We want to keep that there. That's why we voted for this overlay, and we did not really need your presentation at that time once we received this in our packet.
Mr. Wadsworth? You through, Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Wadsworth?
All I can say is there was a first reading a week ago, and now we have a second reading, and I will move for the second reading and final adoption of zoning ordinance amendment TA 2018-001, section 705 Vining Road Overlay District.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for second reading and final adoption of zoning ordinance amendment TA 2018-001, section 7.05 Vining Road, Superior Overlay District. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A2, reappointments to the Environmental Protection Board. The Executive Advisory Committee met on Monday, March 25th, 2019, to discuss reappointments to the Environmental Protection Board. The committee's recommendation to City Council is to approve the reappointments as follows: Margaret LeDuc, Brian McNeil, Catherine Morse, Joseph Ozog, and Mark Wilhide. All terms are for 3 years to commence on April 2nd, 2019 and expire on April 2nd, 2022. Motion would be in order to accept these reappointments.
So moved to accept the reappointments of the Executive Advisory Committee.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, for reappointments to the Environmental Protection Board. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Last action item under the clerk's report, 6A3, Property Disposition Committee. It's a request concurrence to sell parcel 80014030174 vacant residential land located on Essex to Herbert Studstill in the amount of $2,500.
I'll make that motion to approve the sale of the parcel 8001430174000 to Herbert Studstill for the amount of $2,500.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to sell the parcel 8001403017400 for the vacant resident land located on access to Herbert Studstill in the amount of $2,500. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes, with discussion. I was reading on here. I would like to know when some of this property is going up for sale before. I understand that Metro Realty had it. It's listed as, this parcel has been listed for sale with Metro Realty since the fall of 2017 and posted with a for sale sign. And Mr. Studstill purchased the property. But we don't get the information until after it's sold. I didn't, I would like to, if the property disposition committee knows about properties for sale, I would like to know about it before. I mean, if it's gonna go through the city, it was with a realty company.
This board approved Metro Realty to sell those properties back in 17.
I didn't
We
know.
had brought these properties to you asking that we allow Metro Realty to put those up for sale.
So, okay, so I guess I need to go through my files and find out how many more parcels he will be selling.
We have them right here.
Oh, may I have a copy,
Chair, how many
please?
properties do we have left that you have up for sale?
Okay.
So, yeah. So that is the last parcel that we had up for sale with JR, residential property.
Okay, and I don't have a complaint about that. What I guess when nothing is ever said until it's over, I'll put it like that. I mean, and it was my ignorance, I guess, because I did not double check all of the properties that.
I mean, the great part about this sale is that the individual is going to be building a house on it. So we're taking a vacant piece of property and we're turning it into a tax-producing,
Oh, and that's
revenue-producing
fine.
facility.
That's fine.
So,
But from now on, I would like, in case I have a vacation moment, to have those properties listed within our packet so that I will know.
Sure.
Okay. All right, Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
That's the last action item. For your information, I provided a resolution from the city of Riverview, and this is extending,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, okay.
I meant to call Mr. Wadsworth
Yes.
And Williams.
Ms. Williams?
and Ms. Williams. I'm sorry. Another vacation moment with Ms. Webb. Threw that over here to me. Keep that over there, Ms. Webb. Okay. Motion approved.
We still need to vote. I vote yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I assume, okay. Motion approved. Thank you. Let's move on.
Okay. For your information, I provided a resolution from the city of Riverview. It's extending offer to the EPA to relocate its offices located on Grosse-Ile to the city of Riverview's municipal building at a nominal cost. So this is for your information. And with that, that concludes the clerk's report. There is no treasurer's report this evening. Takes us to agenda item number 7, public comment, and this is a portion of the agenda. For those of you that are in the audience, if you would like to address city council, the rules to address city council can be found on the back of your meeting agenda. To address city council, please raise your hand, and after being acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium and state your name for the record. Please note you have 3 minutes to speak, and any additional time would be upon consent of the chairperson. Mr. Chair, we do have 3 written requests.
Okay.
The first, we'd like to call Sandra Kraut to the podium, please.
Sandra Kraut, 9640 Washington Street, Romulus. Last week, there was a vote to opt out of state law PA 152. It did not pass as it required 5 yes votes, not 4 per the attorney. What I thought I heard was, I support the mayor. No. Council is not elected to support the administration, but to support the residents. When you pass a budget using the rainy day fund, you are not showing fiscal responsibility. The response should be, no, reduce the expenses in line with expected revenue. I've heard a lot of blame put on past administrations. I think the proper terminology would be past councils, as they ultimately have the power. That's why your vote to elect the council is so valuable. Voters, pay attention.
Next written request is from Mr. Charles Miller.
Good evening, Charles Miller. Forgive me, my voice is just a little croaky tonight because of the pollen. Anyway, during the Rankers meeting of March 25th, statements were made that cast a shadow of the dealings between the court and this city administration. A charge of impropriety was leveled at Mayor Burcroft, that his administration, their words, not mine, stole in excess of $3 million of the court's money. The previous statement made by Chief Judge Green only seemed to confuse the issue. After the court worker's accusation of that theft remark, Chairman Barden asked the young man, was he making an accusation of theft by Mayor Burcroft's administration? The young man said no. He was just making a statement. Here we are again, with accusations thrown about involving reputed theft and impropriety. Should the citizens be forced once again to endure the accusations and innuendos of wrongdoing by this current mayor? Or is it time to enlist the investigative powers of either the Michigan State Police or possibly the FBI, that the citizens can have a full right to know what the real truth is and honesty can prevail? Thank you.
Our last written request is from Ms. Sharon Walker.
Walker, 11088
Will you pull that down a
Mill
little bit
Street,
here? Thanks.
Romulus, Michigan. The first thing that I'd like to say, the action that was taken on the people that came up and wanted to have the open meeting, that totally blows my mind, that council wouldn't even let the people come so they could explain what they were going to put in. I would like to know. I saw the drawing back there of 7 or 8 buildings. What are they gonna do? They ask, could they come in and have a public hearing? And we said no. The second thing that I wanted to ask about was 35865 Vinewood. The house that's being torn down. It's a house or a structure right next to that has been stripped. It's been on the demo list for a long time. Critters are running out of the house. There's 2 new homes next to it. When is that one gonna come down? Does anybody know?
John? Can Bob McCray speak to that?
I'll have him come up under unfinished business.
Okay, thank you.
That was the last written request,
John.
Mr. Chair and Council.
Shouldn't he be able to come up now? Because didn't we agree that when a resident asks a question up under public comment, they're addressed at that time? not under unfinished business?
Yeah, let's bring him up now.
We agreed to that.
It's up to, now, I think, my understanding, if it's a council, they can ask the council, they can agree. But if they have to ask the administration, they can call up some of their people.
But Julie, when you think it would be befitting for Bob to come up now to answer the question, since the council agreed that we would respond to the residents under unfinished business, under public comment?
As soon as we move on to unfinished business, absolutely. I'm gonna have Bob come up and answer her. I wanted to make sure she had time to ask her 3 minutes of questions.
Well, that is not what we agreed on, so go ahead.
No.
It was my understanding that council, this is your meeting, so you can address the residents whenever, audience, but it was the mayor's request that he would have staff, if answers were available, that we would address it under unfinished business. At any rate, I'm happy to have him come up as soon as we move on to the next item.
Through the chair, if I may.
It's Ms. Webb.
There wasn't a motion made in regards to the council reacting to the residents when they came up. That was something that was put together before I was back on council. We should not have had to have made a motion, but we all agreed we wanted to go back to the way that it was. In other words, if a resident or someone steps up to that podium and they have a question, if the 7 legislative body members here cannot answer it, then we will call one of the department heads to come up who's versed in that area to speak. So, saying that, Mr. McCray, would you mind taking the podium, please?
Well,
It's okay.
Hey,
This is what we want.
that's it.
That's what we did.
yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, council. My comment would be no comment. I need an address to be able to look it up in the BSNA file. We have a burned out structure on Vinewood. We're working on a demolition right now, and this one right here, I need an address in order to look up for it.
And thank you, Mr. McCray.
Yeah.
That's all that we needed to know and the resident needed to know. It's simple.
Okay.
You're gonna look it up and
Get back with it.
get back with her.
John. So Sharon, can you get the address to him so that he can give you a answer? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more requests?
That's all the written requests.
Okay, any other comments from the audience? No more comments from the audience? That part is closed.
Number 8 is unfinished business.
Done.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
If I could just address a couple of items.
Okay.
As we stated with the Vinewood address, we will file a report back with City Council as soon as we verify on that question from the resident regarding that other substandard structure. I did want to just kind of go back to there was a few comments made during the City Clerk's report relative to that second reading on that overlay district. And I just kind of want to remind the public that, number one, the Planning Commission spent about a year, if I'm correct, maybe a little bit longer, working very hard on looking at that area, trying to protect what the original intent of the property was, and also trying to really listen to the residents. I know there were several meetings. I know there was a joint study session with City Council at one point when they had kind of come back initially, I believe, with the report and then their findings. And if you recall, I think we were all kind of thrown that night because, quite honestly, that was a study session before City Council to review the recommendation of Planning Commission and take action on the overlay district. It was not a development proposal of any kind. What occurred was during the public comment portion of that study session, there was a presentation that kind of took place that was completely opposite of what I believe, and I'm going to misspeak here, but not with what the intent of the overlay district was based on your comments during the original study session, the work that Planning Commission had done. Inevitably, it's council's decision to rule on those decisions, but that was their recommendation. And I think we got to give Planning Commission their props too, because they worked very hard on that. And so again, and I believe it was Councilwoman Webb that said that project that they were proposing was completely contrary to what the overlay district had been presented to you. But again, I just want to make sure that the public is aware that was not a development proposal that had been heard before the Planning Commission. This was an overlay district. It was an ordinance amendment. And there had been study sessions on that, including the night that action was made, because I think when the public comment portion came up and it kind of confused everybody, and that's, I think when you guys went back and kind of re-deliberated it. So I just wanted to clear that up. The other item, I believe, was addressed last week. There was a resident that mentioned some of the statements that were made. We had a very heated council meeting last week, without question, and there will be a report filed back with council. You know, unfortunately, those false allegations, and we will respond back to that for you. So I believe that covers everything, and we'll get back to you on that substandard demo structure on Vinewood.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Wadsworth?
If I could, through Tim or Chair, this developer has been coming to us for over a year, showing you folks stuff that wouldn't fit in here. Is that correct? I mean, the plans that they have. I remember him coming to the planning commission.
We initially met with them in, I think it was December of 17, and at that time, what they were proposing did not meet what the zoning allowed. We told them we were not interested in that location. We had lots of property south of the airport, that this was perfect. Over the course of the next year and a half, we had multiple meetings with that development group and said exactly the same thing, that we have lots of land on the south end of town that would be perfect for what they were saying, what they wanted.
But what they are proposing would not fit up here at all.
They are proposing would
From what they
not
told me,
fit up there
away from here.
as RC, and would not fit up there under the overlay district. That's correct.
Okay, fine, thank you.
I will repeat again to the administration and to any department head. Anytime you call only some council members and discuss something that's gonna be on the agenda, pushing for it to get approved, you're walking a thin line of the violation of the Open Meeting Act. Anything of that sort, anything that's on the agenda and you're asking for council approval, it should be done in an open meeting. Regardless, look, I don't want you to say anything, Chief of Staff. Anything moving forward, and this is your final warning, because this is the second time this has happened. You can make any excuse you want. When that came before us, I knew nothing about it. Whether they wanted to bring airplanes in here, I should have been told just like the rest of the council members. Don't exclude me one more time.
Is there any more unfinished business? Number 9 is new business. Number 10 is communication.
Through the chair, if I may.
Yes, Ms. Webb.
I don't have a communication, but I do want to respond to this. Now, I don't know whether my colleagues were called or whether they weren't called. The only thing that I know is that it was going to be placed on the agenda. And I don't think it's leaving people out. I've been left out of a lot of things as well. But the issue that I have is, and it is for us 7, it has nothing to do with the administration, the residents, the department heads, or anybody. We don't communicate to one another. And I'm not gonna sit up here and go tit for tat back and forth. When we have these discussions, I go straight to the person whom I know is gonna give me the correct answer, because the residents are not gonna give me the answer because they may not know. But we sat here and we are supposed to communicate together on these issues. And I just don't want it to seem as though anyone was ignored over this issue. The issue is what we all agreed on. And I said it before and I say it again. We do not want any more trailer trucks going up and down Vining Road. And with this overlay, that's what happened. And once we voted on that, then my colleague, Councilwoman Roscoe, had to make the motion to cancel that study session. Since we made the motion,
Because when you look at the overlay, which we all had in our packet, I had to go through and read it and reread it because I want to see the condos. I want to see retail over there on that 350 plus acres. If we had gone with what the developers were wanting us to have, they would have had big warehouses, tractor trailer trucks and all that. And that's why it was voted. The overlay was presented to us and we voted for the overlay to keep the developers who were here. And I have to agree with our chief of staff, when they were here, that was a study session with the council. We did have a study session. But during the open meeting, the developer did have some slides on the wall for the public. But this is something that the residents don't want 18-wheelers over there anymore. Amazon got in there, and thank God for Amazon. But we don't want any more like that in that area over there.
Thank you.
Any more communication?
Yes.
I would just like to end it with saying that I was not included, and I want to be clear. I was not aware of that being on the agenda. I was still under the impression that because the council asked for a study session, we was gonna have the study session. So all I'm saying is moving forward, that I be informed, whether it be Tim Keys, whether it be the mayor's chief of staff, the city attorney, because the mayor's chief of staff made mention in our closed session that it was supposed to be discussed, and it wasn't. So all I'm saying is moving forward, let's make sure that this doesn't happen again.
And I agree.
On a happier note,
Yay.
we have a tournament that at least we have one more Michigan team in there. We wanted both of Michigan and Michigan State. So we just like to say congratulations to Michigan State and hope they go all the way. Proud of our teams in Michigan. Let's go green. Michigan, I know that how you feel, crowd, but let's cheer Michigan team on. Thank you. All right.
Go green, right?
Go
Okay.
green.
With that, number 11 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, I heard. For adjournment, Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Ms. Webb.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Talley.
Yes.
Mr. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.